Good morning, welcome to Morning Coffee with Brigid. I'm Brigid Burke, and it is the 22nd of December, 2024, and it is cold, really cold here in New Jersey. We have, the snow is still out there from yesterday, and good morning, Joanne. And Joanne, while I have you here, yes, thank you for your Venmo, and your books I'm going to ship tomorrow. I wasn't able to do it yesterday, so I will ship them tomorrow morning for you. And there'll be two different packages. You'll get two in one and two in another. So just wanted to let you know that right off. And so it's very cold today. I have, the heat's been running kind of nonstop. I put blankets over my doors. I tack them up because, good morning, -9 there. Yeah, we're probably, I haven't actually looked at what it is, but it's probably about the same here. And I know it's going to get down to something like closer to it's going to be 8 degrees. Actually, no, you're -9 Fahrenheit. That's really bad. We're probably, I didn't actually look at what it was this morning. We were supposed to be like around 10 or 11 this morning, which is warmer than where you are, but I haven't really looked at it today, but I know it's cold because the pump is running continually, the heat pump. So, I know it's getting worse here. Yes, and it's going to get down even colder tonight, I think, into tomorrow. I think by the time we get to Christmas Eve, it should start to be slowly warming up because I think Christmas Day is supposed to be like in the 40 here at least. So that's that's better. But yeah, it's really cold, and I'm supposed to have the guys come to clean my boiler today, and I already know that they're not because I did not get a confirmation email last night that they were coming, and they'll probably allege that they called me to reschedule. I hope so. That's too cold. Well, yeah, I don't think, I don't think they're going to come today because I think there's going to be people with boiler emergencies, and they're going to say, those are important because those people aren't going to have heat in this weather, which I understand. I am just slightly annoyed with them because I scheduled this all the way back, and they didn't come last time. No, they didn't come on the 8th. They said they were going to come today. They rescheduled me for today. But, so I'm going to have to call them this morning and be like, okay, I didn't get a confirmation because I don't want to waste my whole day, my whole morning waiting for them. I have other things to do. And usually my client comes today, but I have a feeling she's not going to want to come today either. And she may be preparing for the holidays too, but I'm going to have to message her and just see whether or not she still intends to come today, because we had kind of tentatively said she might come today, but we'll see. If she does come, then, it's not a problem. But but she might be like, no, forget it. I'll see you in January. So, we'll see. We'll see how that, shakes out. Either way, it's fine. But, I don't know why. I just kind of woke up with this morning with this feeling that, it's going to be, it's just going to be one of those days that I thought I was going to have all this stuff to do. I am going to try to finish catching up on some grading, there's some stragglers in terms of students and stuff and one of them, he literally just could not get into any of his email. He couldn't get into any of his stuff. He's frantically been trying to email me from his personal email. And so finally I told him, and here I am trying to walk him through the IT steps that IT is not walking him through to try to get back online. But I sent him a copy of the exam. I just said, just do the exam and send it back to me. And then, I will put in grades tomorrow. I just figured I would because they're not due quite yet, but I also feel like I got paid Friday and it's my last day. So, I don't mind. I had one student who had turned a paper, it said she didn't turn a paper in, but she did all the other work and did really well. I was like, did you really not turn a paper in? She says, oh my God, I thought I did. So she sent it right away. So that was good. And, I kind of have that. I always have to bank some time to follow up with the few students where I'm like, something's missing here. And sometimes, to be fair to them, it is the technology. They think that they've done something, or they could just be crazy trying to finish a lot of classes and think, oh yeah, I'm sure I submitted this for Dr. So-and-so, and then they didn't. So I don't care. It's not like it's not like I have to grade 70 papers today. It's like one, I'll live with grading one. But, so anyway, that's kind of the things I've got going on. And this is usually my house cleaning day too. But I'm putting a whole bunch of stuff on eBay. My friends have been getting, it's funny, I normally, like I said, I just bake for the holidays, but people who have been coming to my house have been getting, all kinds of gifts, fully wrapped DVD sets and stuff. And I don't really call them Christmas gifts because or even Yule gifts or anything else, because I'm like, this is just something in my house that I'm giving you. It's like a regift. But it's just something I have that never ended up being opened. And I was like, here, take your fill. I gave one of my swords away finally to my friend who was over on Friday. I brought it downstairs. She's like, I want that. So good morning, Alex. So I did manage to give my big sword away, which was good. I didn't want to see that one. I do have two other ones. One of them probably needs a little bit of cleaning up. And then I have my Athame, but I don't know. Yeah, because as I've said, kind of the angelic thing has been not to do, kind of done with doing magic. It's kind of all my work is going to be angelic work now, which again, to people who don't know what angelic work is, that sounds very lightweight, but it's actually not. And it's not because, witchcraft is bad and magic is bad. It has nothing to do with any of that. It just has to do with, they're like, well, no, you did that work for a while. That's fine. Now this is the work you're doing. So, I can still advise people on the other. I have plenty of experience in the other. So, So last night I had some really, really weird dreams, and I don't know how this was for you guys. And I did say good morning, Alex, right? I think I did. Yes. It's, I feel like, I had a whole series of dreams last night, and it was very, very strange. Reorganizing your room today, yes. I just woke up from a weird dream, is what Alex is saying, and Joanne's reorganizing her room, which is great, absolutely good use of this time. And good morning, yes. Yeah, the weird dreams, I had two. One was about, it's a little more of a personal one. It was about my sister, the one I don't talk to. I had a dream that I was down in Florida and I saw her and she looked different. It was like she had done her hair differently and she kind of looked a little different, but I knew it was her. And her daughter lives with her and they were all kind of down there, but there was a lot of people there. It was like there was a party going on in the house. There's people walking around with beer bottles and stuff like that. And I basically was following my sister around going, you're not gonna sneak away and pretend that you don't know what you did and what's going on. Because she's, I don't want to even get into all that, but I just was following her around and it was like I was just unloading one thing after another. The way she abuses our mother, the way she does different things. And she was just kind of smirking and trying to pretend like she wasn't listening to me or I wasn't there, but I could see she was uncomfortable. And the people around her, there was another woman in the room listening, and she was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be listening to this. And she got up and walked out, because I just railed into her. Everything right down to why she wasn't getting any kind of a thing. Good morning. Good morning, Suda. I just really kind of let her have it in this dream. And it was weird, because it was almost like a kind of a clearing. And I don't know whether it's something she's going to feel on her end or not. My sister texted me after months of silence to tell me she's marrying her ... Okay. And good morning, Suda. Okay, that's what Joanne's saying. Yeah, there was something, I don't want to get into the family dynamics there. Her poly boyfriend symbolically. Oh, okay. All right, well, congratulations, I guess. Yeah, it's her. It's it. So, yeah, interesting that kind of stuff pops up. But I also had a dream that, this one's really weird. It was there were rows of people. I don't know if you remember, those of you who, if you had gym class where you had, the squads, where you had, rows of people. And it was everybody was kind of, in front of this old school, blackboard, black that you would write on with the chalk. And it was the ones that are on wheels and you can flip them both sides. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, isn't that illegal? Is what you're saying. I think being poly is illegal. Polygamy is illegal. I don't know. If they're already married to somebody else, that would be illegal. But from what you're saying there, in terms of any other aspect of it, probably not illegal yet. So it's, but that aspect of it would be definitely if she's already, have some kind of commitment to somebody else. But that I don't know. It's, they both are. Oh, okay, well, then if it's a symbolic thing and not a legal thing, I guess they could do it, but it wouldn't be a legal thing. So the second dream I had, though, it was it's you were all these in squads, and then you have this blackboard, and it was there were people, and actually even pets. I remember my cat who had passed away, Shiva, one of them, was also one of the ones behind the blackboard. And it was funny because it was like there were 4 rows and 4 people, and it was like whoever was behind the blackboard was supposed to kind of tell the people who were in the line how to do something. It was almost like some kind of a game, like how you break out of something or how you get out of something. And I kept feeling like getting out of the maze or getting out of the matrix or getting out of, so it was almost like the people and the animals there were kind of like telling people. And then it's like once those groups succeeded, it was like new people had to come in and be captains. But I remember there was this kind of chubby boy. He was he looked more Mexican to me, and he was wearing white for some reason. And he's like, well, I just want to play something on every team. I don't want to be the person back here. And he was a child. He was more of a child. So that was just really weird. That was a weird dream. But I woke up with the idea in my head that I was going to pull runes this morning, because I have my bag of runes. And I said, I'm going to pull Wunjo this morning, which is the rune of joy. That's the rune of clarity, of joy. Interesting is what Alex is saying. Yeah. And I was going to pull the rune of joy. And so sure enough, I sat down and did my rune reading, and the outcome was Wunjo, which was joy. I was like, yeah, I don't know. In my head, I was like, I could see Wunjo. So I don't know, like whatever that was, I don't know if that's like family karma stuff. I don't know if but there was something about breaking out of a cycle, and whether that's me personally, whether that's everybody. Azrael kind of said to me this morning, that yeah, there is still what he calls, and uses the word loncho, which is like a fall that is still going on. And he said, you need to not, he said, those who are going to fall. He said, what the word was, what was it? Was Zichiska gay, Gichiska gay mos. Okay. These are not spirits of joy. Anything that's going away. Because, I feel like there's almost like a sense of loss, like something is leaving, we're losing something. But he's like, well, don't worry about what's being lost. What's being lost, this is the way justice works. If something has been imbalanced or is not part of something, it's going to go away. And don't have any nostalgia for it, because it's not something that if it stayed was always going to bring you any joy or anybody else. So, and the word joy is kind of an interesting one, because, what do we think of by joy? Like, oh, I opened my present, I got what I wanted, I have joy. It's like, well, we talked about happiness too, versus joy. And what is joy? Joy seems to be a word for something that's a little bit more, I don't know if I want to say a little bit more enduring, or a little bit more, it's more of a quality that one, I don't know, it's something I feel like happiness feels elusive, joy feels more like a state of being. I don't know. That may not even actually be true. But that's just, I feel like there's almost this thing, like when one lives in joy, it's because regardless of what's going on around them, it's like you're kind of in this state. Because joy, I feel like almost embodies like a peace and a balance. Joy is drinking my Kevin Costner coffee. Oh, there you go. It's, we all have our definitions of joy. But it I don't know. There's definitely a feeling of like that they're, according to the runes anyway, they associate joy with a certain clarity, like a very lovely clarity about things, like that moment where all the pieces of the puzzle come together and you can see the whole picture, and you know exactly what it is you have to do, and you are joyful about that. Like, yes, I'm on a path that is going to bring peace, that's going to bring balance, that's going to bring something that's going to make me inside feel this abiding sense of being in harmony with things. And I don't know if I'm describing that perfectly well, but that's kind of the vibe I get with joy. And that's been coming up a lot. And even Azrael used the word mos, which M-O-Z, mos, which is joy in the Enochian language. And had said, yeah, anything that's going away is something. He's sounding like Maria Kondo, isn't he? Like, we're getting rid of anything that doesn't spark joy. But it's just, yeah, and it's funny too that we're talking about cleaning out, right? But yeah, so there's this sense here of coming into joy, but it's because this clearing out seems to be old relationship stuff, old family patterns, that's kind of the point, I think, of the dreams. I thought it was weird that my cat was one of the ones directing people, but the cat did bring me joy. But it was Yeah, but there was this idea that somehow we were breaking out of some kind of pattern or some kind of system or structure that is no longer appropriate to where things are going. So I can get rid of my husband. Joanne says I can get rid of my husband. Excellent. Well, there you go. I'll leave that between the two of you. But that's yeah. I mean, we all have our things, right? So anyway, I'd gotten some cards. I know we didn't really do any kind of heavy duty solstice reading or anything yesterday because I was fighting with the brightness and the weirdness of filters and stuff yesterday that were popping up that I didn't put up on the screen. Yeah, yesterday's lighting was just really, really bizarre. I don't even know if I want to post that video because it was just so bizarre. But it was... but let's see. I just want to see if I can pull a few things. Speaking of animals and stuff, I have my animal deck, my MJ Cullinane Guardian of the Night Tarot, which I like it because, I don't know, it's very... Those of you who do tarot, you know, it's very flippable, you know? Like, some cards are kind of like, you know, trying to get them to... These tend to flip, and yep, and our first card that's flipping is the Eight of Cups. Well, what about that? There's Tiger on this one. And what's Eight of Cups, right? Walking away from something that maybe served us in the past, but doesn't anymore. Interesting start to this, right? Because, you know, as we are making changes, we may be making changes where we are getting rid of things. You know, it's easy to get rid of stuff that's broken or that we don't want, or something that we just absolutely hate and you're like, just get this out of my face, I don't want it. It's easy to get rid of that kind of stuff. But sometimes there are things where it's kind of like, you ever go through when you're cleaning out clutter and stuff and you pick stuff up and you're like, oh, I remember this. Like, you know, this I really, yeah, ooh, like, the tiger, right, yeah. It's like, ooh, you know, I really liked this. This made me laugh at one time. This was this. And so we have a hard time letting it go. We're like, oh, I'll just put it back and I'll hang on to it for a little while longer. And the Eight of Cups is almost the energy of, no, you don't want to hang on to things any longer. You need to let go of them, right? So that's the first one we're getting. And let's see who we get next. Oh, yeah. The Knight of Swords. Okay. So the Knight of Swords, which is actually a barracuda, and I'm sorry, I don't want to get anybody's, that song in anybody's head. But the Knight of Swords is, because it always gets in my head, now it is in my head. But the Knight of Swords is about things happening very, very fast. Now, whether or not it's telling us to think before we act or not will depend on what the next card is. We may be making very fast decisions. Okay, one of my favorites, the King of Wands. I like this one because it's the lion with the crow sitting on its head. That always reminded me of the Morrigan as a guide. Like, you know, if you're sitting there, remember how I'm always called to be a lion, right? And then she's just sitting on top of the head, looking down. I always called this my my Morrigan, Vehicle of Morrigan card, you know, because this was on the top. But the King of Wands is coming up. To me, that's about being ambitious. It's about being enthusiastic about your goals. It's about knowing how you want to attain them. And it's about going for it and saying, no, I'm going to go for it. And I'm not going to allow things to get in the way of my going for where I'm going. So I have a feeling this is going to be almost like we're suddenly called away from the things of the past. And it's like, nope, now we got to launch into this new future, which sounds very Uranus oriented. That is very Uranian energy. It's very sudden and very unexpected. And we're throwing stuff all over the floor. Okay, just give me a second here. All right. That's the problem with working in this small space. If I had a nice bigger table. Good morning, Melissa. Glad you could join us today. It's okay. So we've got the sun. Speaking of lions, now we have lots of, we have a lion and a lioness and a tiger. Okay, so that's interesting that we have that. Good morning. Sorry, oh, no worries. Join in when you can. So we have the sun. So there's your clarity, right? There's that clarity. Sorry, I'm so late. No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But we also have the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Swords. Now, so we have panthers. Yeah, it's funny. I had a dream about a cat. Now there's all this cat energy here, right? So you've got this Seven of Swords here. And as we know, Seven of Swords can mean, I don't think in this case, though, in the context that it's come out, because we've also got it with the Knight of Cups, I think this is more energy of opportunities that are going to be coming, that are going to be, it's going to be very clear that that's the path we have to take. But I feel like they may be something that's lurking in the background right now. Because to me, Seven of Swords can go either way. It can be somebody watching who doesn't have your best interest, or maybe is trying to manipulate you. Seven of Swords can also just be somebody has been watching and all of a sudden they're just going to appear and you're like, what? Where did you come from? Like, there's that energy of it as well, and I'm feeling more like it's the latter than the former. I don't think it's an energy. I think it's an energy of just saying there's something coming in, and it's just, right now it's kind of lurking in the background. I love a Black Panther, so dangerous and impatient. Yeah, well, yeah, they can be very, very dangerous, and it's interesting. They said them black panthers or big black cats of some type, black dogs. It's interesting how they often are associated with omens of change, right? Like in England, if you see black shuck or you see one of these other, black dogs that like magical black dogs, that it's a sign, that's an omen of, they will say an omen of death, but I think it's more an omen of, there's the death of an old way of something. You know what I mean? Something is changing here. Yeah, I mean, interesting that this is all happening around solstice too. So anyway, I pulled a few of those cards. And let's pull a few runes, because that was a thing this morning. So these runes are for the live stream and not for me personally. All right, yeah. Our first one is on Suze, which is really interesting. The rune of Loki, the trickster. And that's literally what I was just saying about the Seven of Swords. Chance encounters. The discussions with people where stuff just kind of comes out of nowhere. And it's saying, pay attention during these encounters. As you pay attention, because I feel like what it's saying is, we can be sitting here right now and saying, okay, there's new beginnings happening. We're ready to make a new plan. We're ready to do something else. We may even have a vague idea of where we want to go, or maybe we don't. And what this energy is that whatever change is going to happen, it's going to be unexpected. It's going to be a random conversation you have with somebody. It could be somebody you pass in the grocery store. It does not have to be like one of those planned things where I'm planning to have this conversation with this person at some time today, and that person's talking to me is going to do this. So it's interesting. And yeah, this is going to bring an opening up. We have Kano. Okay, Kano's the rune of fire. Speaking of fire. And this is saying that this message, whatever it is going to open something up. It's going to open some kind of a door. So that's our Knight of Cups, right? So let's see what the next one is. Isa. Okay. Right now, I think we know we're on the verge of this change, and there could be some unease and anxiety because we may still feel stuck right now, like things are frozen. I mean, they're quite literally frozen outside. It's really cold today. Probably coldest where maybe Joanne and maybe where Alex is too. I don't know, because you were saying -9. I thought you said Keanu, which is also good. Oh, Kano. Yeah, I guess so. But Kano is, this is Isa. Isa is, this is the sense of being stuck, okay? We're in the teens here. Yeah, Alex, I think we're probably quite similar in New Jersey. And hey, Sam has joined us. Fantastic. We haven't seen you all week because I know you've been super busy. So I'm glad that you were able to jump in, at least for a few. We're just doing a rune reading right now. I had just pulled some cards. And we've started with Ansu's, which is the trickster rune, the unexpected. An unexpected opening. We've got Kano. And so right now there's a sense of being frozen, like so busy. Oh, well, from what you told me, it sounds like you're incredibly busy. So this is the rune of stuckness. We may feel stuck right now. We may feel maybe frozen externally. We may feel kind of frozen internally as well. Isa is also the rune of winter, by the way. But it's basically saying be patient because something's getting ready to be born. Okay. That may be also part of the Seven of Swords energy. It's something that's in the background, right? Where we may feel stuck at the moment. We may feel stuck in feelings. Like I said, we're clearing out, and it's like, ooh, it's really hard to let go of the old. We may feel stuck in a way. But there's an opening coming, and let's see what our outcome is. Oh, literally, this is the one that follows it, and that is Dagaz. This is massive change, massive transformation. Like, this is like being stuck where you are. This is massive transformation. So we are literally, it's saying, yeah, the fact that you might feel stuck right now, don't let that fool you. I mean, there's massive, massive change coming. And the thing is, the fact that it's being represented by this unexpected opening, this unexpected opportunity, this unexpected chance to, because Kano, the fire rune, is about this chance to connect. And it's interesting because I see it showing up next to the rune of winter, so it's almost like it brings on the thaw, right? The fire of that brings on the thaw. So there's a sense here that we are something, wherever we're feeling stuck or frozen or isolated or like we can't move forward, there's this like, this is going to be like 180 degree different. Like whatever was going on that you felt like, God, I'm just going to be stuck in this forever. This is like the dream that I had. This is breaking out of the loop. This is breaking out of that circle. That's literally what this means. And we're going to see it in our external life through this unexpected conversation. It's going to be something random, or it's going to be the epiphany you have like when you're in the shower or you're, washing dishes and you go, oh, wait, holy crap. Like, so good change then is what Suda's asking. Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's going to unstick the places that are stuck, I guess is the best way to put it. Wherever we feel like we've not been able to make progress, now we're going to be able to do that. So that's what this is about. So let's see. I have a whole bunch of things here because I just felt like today I kind of had a vague idea of what I wanted to talk about, but I was like, let's see where the cards take us. Because for those of you who had joined later, Melissa and also Sam, I was talking about two very odd dreams that I had. I'm holding my breath till February. Yeah, with Suda, actually, I kind of hope that things for you end up shifting till February because I think that would make your situation a lot easier. So fingers crossed, yeah, for that. I'm rooting for this to come out the way that you want it to. So let's see, what do we got here? Ooh. This is interesting. Okay, we've got the, well, thank you. Yeah, definitely. We've got the kinfolk card. So once again, there's this sense of, and look at this, they've got the little fire over them, like looks like a little flame. And that's interesting too, that there's something, so I don't know if some of this is going to be connected to family in some cases. Let's see what this card is about. The kinfolk card should be in this section here. Yes, it is. Okay. Put it back here so I can read it. This card calls forth family of all sorts, familial, chosen, ecological, and spiritual. Wow. Your closest relationships are a practice in mutual vulnerability, and your strength is multiplied in the affirming healthy bonds you build with them. Wow. Now I'm starting to cough. Now what does that mean? It came out of nowhere. Can you see others as they are, and in turn allow them to see you? Okay. Now that's interesting because one of the things I thought about this morning, or popped into my head anyway, was the thought about the way in which, like when we talk about people, okay, when we talk about people who are toxic, say, or we talk about people who, I don't know, they have one, they make us feel one way or another. And I think I'm going to turn this light off now. Okay, yeah, it's bright enough now. Now we actually have sunlight. I feel like okay, whenever we talk about a person who is a part of our lives, maybe somebody who we're in conflict with, it could be somebody who just, I don't know, maybe there's an awkwardness, maybe we don't get on with them in some way. There's a tendency that we have in the culture is to kind of put people in categories of either, we kind of sometimes fall into that social dualism that says this person they're toxic, or they're like, they're either a really great person or they're really toxic. Like there's kind of no in between, right? Like if a person has done things that are toxic, then that just means they're a terrible, like horrible person and have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And I think what this reminds us is that everybody is a mixture of qualities, okay? But there's going to be, even in the people who annoy us the most, there's going to be something about them. And sometimes people behave in the way they do because they are so wedded to a particular ideology or a particular way of thinking or something that they want to do. And they're not seeing outside of that. And if other people are saying to them, hey, no, this affects this negatively, this is that. Sometimes people are just still, it's that King of Wands energy. No, I'm just focused on where I'm going and what I want. And so we start to feel like, well, that person's very selfish. They're this, they're that. But I think it's kind of reminding us that, okay, well, when we get into spaces where we're absolutely determined that something's going to be a certain way, do people perceive us that way? Do they look at us and say, well, you're not thinking about how I... And sometimes the answer is, no, I don't care how you feel. Like, what I feel is important here. And so this is when we get into kind of all these ethical judgments about, well, who's right and who's not right and so forth. But on the whole, there's and it's going to vary by situation. Sometimes it's better to stand your ground and who cares what other people think. Other times, other people need to be taken into account. It all varies. There's definitely this... there's not a one-size-fits-all answer for that. Because in some cases, you need to ignore everybody and do your thing. In other cases, you might want to think about, okay, well, before you move ahead, what is this going to do? What's the impact going to be? And maybe to a certain extent, we do both. Like, what's the survey of the scene here? But I think when I remember, and I've thought about this for years, when we think about the idea of forgiveness, okay? And again, I remember the first time I had this conversation with a nun. One of the nuns at Mount St. Mary's, actually. She's passed away since then, Sister Teresina. And I think I had just broken up with somebody. And the circumstances of it, I was just really disgusted and angry. And I was just kind of like, and people were saying to me, well, this person doesn't really, they're just an idiot. Like, forget it, And I'm like, well, yeah, but I was like, I can't forget this right now. Like, that's why I always say people, you've got to be in the space that you're in. If you're angry at somebody, you're angry at them until you are not. To try to say to yourself, oh, no, I shouldn't be angry. That's not nice. I shouldn't do... Forget nice. I mean, if that's the way you're feeling, that's the way you're feeling. Whether or not you need to confront somebody else with that feeling, again, depends on the situation. Sometimes there needs to be an open, honest conversation. Sometimes you have somebody who is not willing to listen, and then what are you going to do? I mean, then that's what people usually call me. It's just, they tell me about it, which is fine. I don't mind. But we have this thing of we're in this space until we're not. And what forgiveness is often based on is not that we now think everything that person did is just totally fine now. Oh yeah, well, you did this. And in some cases, like, oh, if you have somebody who's very abusive or is very, well, we're just going to all bypass that now and pretend it's, water under the bridge, right? That's not what forgiveness is, actually. And that's the way it's often represented. Like, I'm going to be back to the bigger person that we were talking about yesterday, right? I'm going to be the bigger person. No, don't be, that's not what it's about. It's about, no, I feel this way. I was hurt. I need to acknowledge my own wound. I need to work on healing my own wound from this. Okay, however that translates for me. Because if I don't heal the wound, if I just bypass it and go, oh, well, I should just be the bigger person, that's just going to continue to be there and it's going to fester and it's going to come back. And it might have started as a little thing and then it's going to become a real big freaking thing. And the thing is, the only person that ends up being toxic for is you. As much as we don't like the other person, as much as we look at the other person and we're like, yeah, you need to get your karma on this one. We can't wait to see it. Forgiveness is more about saying, I'm going to, and again, Teresina had said to me, this is not something that necessarily is going to happen right away. She said, but when you reach a point where you're like, you know what, the anger has run out. I'm tired of being angry, not because this person is now suddenly right and it's okay, but because I just, I'm tired of draining myself with this anger. So it's not even about the other person. The other person is still, If they did something, they're still as wrong as they were before, okay? You're not exceeding that, like, okay, everything's fine. And forgiveness doesn't always necessarily mean that you're going to make, kiss and make up, or that you're going to reconcile with this person or reconcile yourself to their point of view. Forgiveness is actually about the way in which we just release our venom and hatred and anger, which is why I always stress creativity for people, because I think that's a very good way to do it. Put it into fiction, put it into poetry, put it into a piece of art, put it into something else, rather than taking it out on people, right? Forgiveness is a choice, not an emotion. It doesn't necessarily feel good, is what Joanne says. Well, yes, forgiveness has to be a choice. Forgiveness is a choice to not be angry. Yeah, it is a choice, but it's not a choice that we can necessarily make with our head. And that's my point. I just don't think we can necessarily, like, if somebody does something and I just say, well, okay, I forgive you. Do I really forgive them? Or is this something that, Taurians, actually, Joanne, you'd relate to this, because as a Taurian, we are definitely the sign that is noted for, well, they always say elephants never forget, right? But Taurians are kind of like, yeah, okay, but we kind of like it sticks in the back of our mind. Yeah, that thing you did 20 years ago. Like, it doesn't, we're a fixed sign. It doesn't go away that easily. And our memories are long. So even if we say, okay, I'm going to let this go, that's still going to stick with us. The thing that they did, it's not going to be like, yeah, no big deal. Like, we'll pretend like that never happened. Like, that doesn't happen, especially as a Taurian. That does not happen. So we always remember, and we're cautious, but we're not necessarily, but we may not. And the thing is, to let go of anger, like in the case that I was talking about here, I did actually do some work at that retreat that weekend where, yeah, I kind of was able to let the anger go. And I had like one last discussion with this person where P actually came back and said, I apologize. I what I did was wrong. You really didn't do anything here, and I'm putting all this on you, and it wasn't right. So, we ended on a note where I'm like, okay, yeah, you acknowledged what you did, but it's not like we reconnected again. We didn't become friends again. We didn't, it was just, okay, fine. And if I ran into this person anywhere, it wouldn't be like, I'm ready to kill you. It was just like, oh, okay. That happened. Now it's done. And at some point, because I've often said, like when I think about when I got divorced, it's like, I had no anger in my divorce. There is a lot of anger. There were certain things that came up that I think I was angry about how, they had skewed my view of people and relationships, or the way that when you get traumatized and wounded, you're very reluctant to move forward in that space again, right? So I think I was still very angry about a lot of those things, and if I really sat down and thought about some of the things that were said and done, that could really stoke my anger again. But at the same time, when it came to him, it was just like, go in peace, just go. We could, when he would call, which he hasn't in more than 10 years, which is totally fine. But it wasn't like there was a lot of, oh God, get lost. I don't ever want to see your face again. In terms of being married, yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Just please, just get out of my space. I don't want to see you again. But on friendly terms, if he called, I wasn't like, what do you want, mother effer? There wasn't the anger there. Okay. Because at that point I was just like, you know what? I got what I wanted. I'm out of this. I'm free. And, and that person, they can do whatever they want in their life. And they will have consequences of whatever actions they have. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. But if you retain that bitterness of like, I can't wait to see you suffer for what you did, then we haven't, then that anger hasn't been released. You know what I mean? And there always may be certain things, because we feel like these are the things that fragment us. And then we kind of have to try to pick up the pieces in whatever way that we can. So forgiveness is that point at which, because we want to say, okay, the person that I am fundamentally is not, whatever this person did, they don't define me now. You know what I mean? It's that kind of an energy. So anyway, it's hard to describe, but yeah, it is a choice, but it's not something that you can just, I think you need to do in the heat of the moment. Because I feel like, I'm just remembering a homily that when I had to go to church with this one priest whom I really don't like. because to me he was all drama and no actual substance. I mean, I didn't think, I thought what he pontificated about very, very dramatically, that people thought, oh, he's so funny and he's so this, and I'm like, yeah, but he's an a-hole. When certain things happen to him, everyone's like, oh, it's such a tragedy this happened to him, and I myself am going, yeah, I could have told you this was coming. But in any case, I remember him giving this sermon about a woman there was a truck driver who hit her child. Okay, I mean, accidentally, obviously, it wasn't intentional. And the truck driver came to the hospital and he was in tears. He was so upset and he had to tell the mother, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And the mother, of course, now the mother being angry at him, I mean, yeah, he didn't do it on purpose, but this is her child. So yeah, you could see her being livid with this guy. But I remember him saying, oh, but she stood there and said, well, as a human, it's hard to forgive, but as a Christian, I forgive you. And I'm like, puke. No, you do not forgive this guy. You're like, F you. I mean, understood that he didn't do it on purpose, okay? So you're not like saying you murdered my child, but at the same time, it's like, yes, but F you took this away from me. You're not going to get over that feeling because you're a good Christian in 5 minutes. It's just not happening, okay? And I find that to be very insincere and dishonest. I mean, and I think we're dishonest with ourselves. It's more like we have to, again, appearing to be the bigger person. I don't know why this theme keeps coming up. So let's do our regular reading for today. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, forgiveness is one of those things that comes at a point when you say, you know what? I am ready to not invest any more emotional energy in this. And, maybe it will lead to a conversation. Maybe it'll lead to a resolution. Maybe it won't. But sometimes we just have to walk away from it. But that often usually also means you're walking away from the person and situation entirely, right? You're not, you're not engaging. And the onus may be on that person to show whether or not they earn your trust again, right? If you still have to engage with them. So anyway, it brought up for me the idea that thought was on my mind today. And it was funny because I'm thinking about that with respect to my sister, and I'm like, I mean, is she somebody I would forgive? And I'm like, I don't know yet. I mean, we're not at a point where the behavior with the negative behavior has stopped. So, maybe there will be a point, like maybe after my mom passes away and stuff, that maybe, I don't know, that maybe I can feel less, a certain way about it where I could just be like, all right, I could have a conversation with her again. But at the moment, I'm like, well, I ain't there yet. Been quite a few years, not there yet. And I guess those of you who joined late, I did have a dream about that. So, all right, so let's do our center card. 10 of Pentacles. We are the world, okay? 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is about, again, I think all of us, whatever our North Node is pushing us towards right now, this is about connection, okay? This is about connection, connecting with others, and what treasure we have that we share with others, right? Inner feeling of which we're unaware, friendliness, okay? We're talking about all the people who piss us off that we want to get rid of, but really this is about how do we come into a space where we are connecting, not where we're isolating ourselves. Remember, in the runes, we got Isa. Isa is the rune of being stuck, of being isolated, of feeling like you're frozen out of something, right? This is about inside what we really want, even in situations where people make us really angry, is we want connection, we want harmony, okay? This doesn't necessarily mean we want romantic love. I mean, maybe for some people that's what that's about, but because Two of Cups we often associate with romantic love. But I think it's more about the way in which we want to connect with people. We want to have that connection. The external feeling of which we are aware is mind, okay? The mind gets involved. The mind starts inventing scenarios. The mind has, decides what people think of us, what's really going on there. Here's the scenario that's playing out in my head, right? And it's and oftentimes mind is just, again, it's that's we were talking about getting out of the maze, right? That's at least one of the mazes you want to get out of, is the maze of mind. The mind saying, this is the way it is. It's always going to be this way, and there's never going to be any other way to look at this or negotiate this. And it's basically saying, as we're trying to find our way out of that space, do remember that internally what's wanted here ultimately, even like I said, even when we're furious with people, what you really want is the connection. You really want to be on the same page. You want to be able to work with that person, not be at war with them. We don't, while there can feel good to get our anger out sometimes, we would much prefer to be in a state where that wasn't even necessary, right? I mean, and that doesn't always happen, that's not, the world doesn't always work like that. But there may be cases where it's saying, okay, how can we untangle ourselves from that maze of the mind that makes us feel like we have to stay away from people? Okay. And our card here is the Five of Cups, clinging to the past. And this is literally what I was talking about at the beginning. The idea that certain things are changing, certain things we're going to let go. And Azrael's message was, those things that are going away were not things connected to, they were not going to be bringing any joy to your life or to your situation or to the world at large. Because there is this sense that there are things that are passing out and passing away. But we may want to cling to them because maybe at one time they did bring joy and maybe they don't now. So really, in this space of like, okay, things are getting lost and we're standing here thinking, okay, well, I'm still in mourning. I don't know what's next, moment to moment. Okay, we're back to the Two of Pentacles, moment to moment. Living in the moment. Just saying, just worry about where you are now. Don't worry about what I think this person's going to say tomorrow or what they're going to do or whatever. Just be in the moment of where you are and what you feel right now and who you are right now. And and I mean, I think the more that you live in the moment, I keep meaning to put all these Alan Watts videos up and then I watch them downstairs, but they put them on my phone, then I have to go upstairs, find it on my phone, copy the URL, put it in a story. So I've been lazy and not doing it. But but how do we, it's like, how do we refocus our attention away from the mind constantly playing, our emotional trauma and our emotional, whatever is making us feel stuck. What is happening over and over again? And again, if we look at the runes seem to be saying, okay, the answer is going to come in a place that we're not expecting to find it. The Seven of Swords, I think, actually meant that today, too. You're going to find it in a place you're not expecting to find it. But I don't think you can go looking for it. I think it's one of those things, it'll come upon you, and that's when you have the moment where you go, oh, now I see, But it's going to be something, and this will be my last thought because we're at 7:48, but remember Amma saying, how did she put it? She said frequently what the guru, she would talk about the gurus, because frequently what the guru has to do is trick you. Like, because she goes, the mind is like the cow that's wandering around the field and you're trying to rope the cow and trying to bring it in and it will not be brought in. So it's like you have to trick it to come in. And that's what a lot of what certain types of meditations are also meant to do. They're meant to trick the mind into shutting up, basically. But you can't do it if you say, oh no, okay, I'm not going to think. Like, that doesn't work because you're thinking about thinking, right? It doesn't work. You have to trick it. So similarly with whatever's going on, it's like you have to trick yourself. It's almost like it's going to come in a way that's going to be a little more sneaky, and not just a direct, it's not like your spirit guides are going to sit down and go, okay, here's your next step. And this is this thing. Okay, so you're not going to do this, and you're going to do that. Like, wouldn't it be great if our spirit guides did that? But they don't. So you have to. You're gonna find it in an unexpected place. So anyway, that's it for me. I will try to be on. Like I said, I haven't made up my mind about Christmas yet. I will tell you on the Christmas Eve live stream whether or not I'm going to do Christmas Day or not. Because I imagine Christmas Day everyone's going to be busy. But thanks, Brigid and Sugar Plum Divas. Yeah, right. There you go. You are welcome. Yeah, but I'll be here tomorrow. Unless I'm slammed with a massive headache, but I should be here tomorrow. I don't think that'll happen. Knock wood, right? But all of you have a wonderful day. And I will see all of you tomorrow morning. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. And good luck with all your Christmas preparations. You're welcome. And whatever else you're preparing to do this week. And shoveling out like I had to do yesterday. So everybody have a great day and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.